Most of us are aware of the impact cigarette smoke and exhaust fumes have on our health. However, has it ever occurred to you that the fragrances used in scented products today could be just as harmful to you? Unlike many years ago, today's fragranced products are manufactured using chemicals, some known to be hazardous to your health. These chemicals can cause health problems for you, your family, or your work family, co-workers. What is most challenging for people with health issues related to scented products is controlling your exposure to these products in the workplace. In the past, I used scented products as anyone else would, such as air fresheners and laundry products, but now have health issues related to the fragrances in these products. I can feel perfectly fine upon arrival to my workplace, but what others smell as a wonderful fragrance in the air immediately makes me feel as though my lungs are burning. I become short of breath, start wheezing, coughing, and struggle to make it through my workday. Initially, my symptoms resolve quickly after removing myself from the triggering fragrance. However, today my symptoms never fully resolve. I have asthma triggered by the chemicals in these products. Co-workers should refrain from using scented products in the workplace, as this can affect one's health. First, I will discuss the problem, asthma triggered by synthetic fragrances. Then discuss the leading cause of the problem, the lack of federal regulations regarding the ingredients in these products, and finally discuss some workplace solutions explaining why co-workers should refrain from using scented products. First, let us look at the problem. Asthma triggered by the exposure to scented products. Asthma can be triggered by the exposure to the chemicals in fragranced products. People with asthma triggered by fragrances can experience a decreased quality of life. According to a CDC document from 2014 entitled Asthma Prevalence in the U.S., asthma affects approximately 26 million people. Asthma is a chronic lung disease. Avoiding products that irritate the lungs is key. According to the CDC, fragrances can trigger asthma in approximately 72% of asthmatics. Dr. Ann Steinemann, a professor of civil and environmental engineering and public affairs at the University of Washington, and her colleagues have conducted studies on several best-selling fragrance products with interesting results. Her website, last updated in 2013, states 30.5% of the general population and 37.5% of the asthmatic population found scented products on others irritating, while 19% of the general population and 33.5% of the asthmatic population report health problems from air fresheners and deodorizers. Many of these chemicals irritate our lungs. Dr. Steinemann adds, the health effects from exposure to these products can range from headaches, dizziness, breathing difficulties, asthma attacks, and even seizures. In an interview conducted by Dr. Mercola in 2012 with Dr. Steinemann regarding her research, she feels many people are likely affected by today's scented products, but do not make the correlation. Now that we have identified how asthma is triggered by synthetic fragrances, next let us look at a major cause of this issue. A major cause of asthma triggered by synthetic products is the lack of federal regulations regarding the ingredients used to formulate these fragrances in our everyday products. In the aforementioned interview with Dr. Steinemann, she states the fragrance industry has very few laws regulating the chemicals used to formulate fragrances in their products. Therefore, the manufacturers can and do use chemicals known to be hazardous to your health. Stating as well that fragrance formulas are a trade secret, so U.S. law does not require companies to disclose their ingredients. Her research, which analyzed air fresheners, laundry products, cleaners, and personal care products, found that each product tested contained at least one chemical recognized by the United States government as toxic or hazardous to one's health by federal law. She states our government regulates many of these same chemicals when emitted from a factory smokestack, but not in the products used in our homes and workplace. According to Dr. Steinemann, if you think you are making wise choices on products labeled non-toxic, natural, or organic, think again. She reports there are no federal laws to regulate the use of these terms either. So we have no idea what we are subjecting ourselves to in today's synthetically scented society. Approximately half the products tested made some claim to be green, but were not significantly different from any other product tested. If I have not convinced you to stop using scented products altogether, let me provide a few solutions to address this problem in the workplace. Coworkers should refrain from wearing scented products at work. According to my physicians, the #1 treatment strategy to prevent symptoms is avoidance. I have worked to rid my home of the products that trigger my asthma, but now need to convince all coworkers this is a major health concern for some people. Some solutions I find helpful in the workplace is to kindly explain your situation to your coworkers. Ask to be moved to a different office or work area away from the triggering fragrance. Open windows and run fans to circulate fresh air. And work remotely if possible to avoid the risk of exposure. Some solutions I find hard to swallow is, according to my physicians, I would not need medications if I did not have exposure to the fragrances that trigger my symptoms. I have an added expense of treating an issue caused by a secondhand fragrance. My last solution would be developing a fragrance-free workplace policy, as the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has done. The CDC website states, reducing exposure to chemicals in the workplace is a preventative action that can lead to improved outcomes for both worker health as well as the environment. The CDC's policy states, fragrance is not appropriate in the workplace, and the use of some products with fragrances can be detrimental to the health of workers with chemical sensitivities, allergies, and asthma. I know of no harm that comes to those who refrain from using synthetically produced fragrances. Fragrances in many of today's consumer products can cause serious health problems for some people. The lack of federal regulation regarding the ingredients used to formulate these fragrances is a major contributing factor. A solution for the workplace is to refrain from exposing others to secondhand fragrances. Coworkers should refrain from using scented products in the workplace, as this can affect others' health. In closing, I will say, I love my job and the work I do in healthcare. So my hope is that I can persuade all coworkers to stop using products with synthetically manufactured fragrances to assure people can work in an environment that does not make them sick. Let us work together to make the work environment safe for everyone.